Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be looking at some news circulating around about possible appointments to the backroom team of Newcastle United once again. And I've got to say, this is coming from Fabrizio Romano. One of them's coming from the Secret Scout. So we'll see how credible these sources are. Only time will tell, of course. But let's get straight into it. In today's video, Fabrizio Romano, of course, has put out a tweet saying that Newcastle are in advanced talks to appoint Manchester United's head of youth recruitment, David Harrison, as our new head of emerging talent. Harrison will work for the first team and oversee academy signings worldwide. Now, this sounds very, very promising. And when you look at what Harrison has done in his career so far on his LinkedIn page, which of course there will be a picture of this up on screen for you to see as well. He started his career in Everton in August of 1995, where, of course, he was the box office manager right the way up until July 2000. So 5 years as the box office manager at Everton. During that time, he was also assistant club secretary from August 1996 to July 2000, so 2 years as the assistant club secretary. Then, of course, he took on the role in August of 2000, right the way up to February 2023 when he left Everton to join Manchester United. He was, of course, the director of football operations and club secretary for Everton. So 27 years, or just over 27 years at Everton, before, of course, taking on the role at Manchester United of Director of Football Operations. So he's not been at Manchester United for long. He started the job, of course, this month at Man U. And, of course, Newcastle are in advanced talks according to what Fabrizio Romano is saying in acquiring David Harrison away from Manchester United. Now, he is being talked about as being a key member of their backroom team. So if we can get him away from Manchester United, that would be absolutely amazing. Looking at his credentials as well, what he can bring to the back room of Newcastle would be absolutely fantastic. Looking at his education as well there. Liverpool John Moores University, he got bachelor's honour in business studies with finance. Of course, he was there from 1999 to 2002 for to get that bachelor's honour in business studies with finance. So he knows how to do the financial side of the game as well. So this will be interesting to see, what he can bring to the table. But according to Romano, like I say, it is an advanced talks on that one. And he will, of course, work for the first team and oversee academy signings worldwide. Whilst he was at Everton as well, the Liverpool Echo put out a little bit about him during his time at Everton, and he was known as Contract Dave, which was a nickname that they gave him at the Merseyside club because he was always smiling alongside new signings when announced. So, he likes to get his face out there. So we'll see what happens with this one as time progresses. Moving on to the Secret Scout one now. Again, like I say, take it with a pinch of salt because I don't quite know the credibility behind this one or the from Fabrizio Romano one neither. Obviously, Romano's quite a credible reporter. But the Secret Scout, I'm not quite sure on this one. But it is an exclusive according to them that Dan Rice, head of youth recruitment at Southampton, is set to join Newcastle as, of course, we prepare for a huge recruitment drive for academy players in the summer. Now, taking a bit of a look at, of course, what Dan Rice has done during his time as well in football. He started out his time as an assistant manager at Elite Football Limited, which of course he was there for 2 years or just over 2 years, before then moving on to Fulham Football Club, where he was there for just over 8 years, taking on quite a few different roles there, as you can see, academy player care manager, academy player recruitment care manager, academy talent identification scout, academy player recruitment manager for under 9s and under 23s, before then moving on, of course, to Arsenal, where he spent over 2 years there. as the academy player recruitment for under 9s in under 14s. Then, of course, taking on the role of the under 12s and under 18s player recruitment management role. Of course, working for the FA for a bit of time as well, over 6 years, working for the FA as an affiliate tutor at level 2 talent identification and an FA talent reporter for under 17s and under 21s. Then, of course, taking up a role at Southampton, where he was the under 13s and under 19s player recruitment manager before he took on the role of the head of youth recruitment. When he is coming into Newcastle, of course, he will be coming in to do something to help with the academy. So that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, he's got some FA qualifications and licenses there as well. Obviously, to be able to do them roles. So this is going to be an interesting one. It's nice to see that we are starting to bring a lot of people into the boardroom, into the back room of Newcastle who have a football brain. They know how the business runs and they know how to do things in the best possible way to keep the club ticking over naturally, you know, and get the club generating revenue on its own without having to inject the money into it, like we see, you know, with clubs like Man City where they're always having to inject their money into the club. It's nice to see that we are looking at making a sustainable club going forward and doing it in the right way as well. And I'm sure, you know, David Harrison and Dan Rice will both be fantastic acquisitions to Newcastle United moving forward. There's also talk as well of Newcastle hitting the headlines in Italy with an 88 million offer for Victor Omerson. Now, I've got to say, you know, this would be fantastic. Victor Omerson is a really great player, and you know he's got a lot of Andy Cole about him in my eyes. You know the way he plays, he does the same things that Andy Cole used to do at Newcastle United as well, with a heading of the ball to knock it on. You know, so I think he's going to be a fantastic player. You know, if we do bring him in, if we bring him in for 88 million, though, however, I don't know. That does seem like a pretty hefty price tag, but it is probably around about the price that you would be looking to pay for a player of his caliber as well, because he's doing fantastic for Napoli right now, and Napoli's doing fantastic as well. So to get somebody like Victor Omerson away from them, we are going to have to pay big money. We're not going to be getting him for cheap. I mean, just look at what we had to pay Real Sociedad for, you know, Alex. It wasn't cheap at the end of the day. It's cheap when you look at it now, you know, because he's scored some fantastic goals and he's got quite a bit of a return in games ratio for it as well. So, you know, I can't wait to see what happens with this Victor Omerson one, because I really do rate him as a player. But moving on from that one, we will talk about another player that we are being linked with in Newcastle, reportedly quite keen on signing, as well as the German playmaker Florian Wirtz at the end of the season. A report from 90 Minutes claims that a number of Premier League clubs are having a look at the 19-year-old from Bayer Leverkusen. Newcastle, of course, are one that are looking at him as well. So, you know, let's see if we can bring him in. I have seen him a little bit, of course, at Leverkusen, and he does look to be quite an interesting player. And I think he would, you know, put something towards our team. He would benefit our team going forward as well. But there's just got to be a lot of players that are going to be linked to Newcastle, so we do need to, you know, wean through these players and try and pick out, you know, the right ones that are actually being linked to Newcastle, not just the clubs and the managers and the agents, you know, that are linking Newcastle in there to benefit their club in a financial way by boosting the transfer of these players. But, you know, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. It's going to be an interesting one to see, you know, what happens regarding, like I say, Dave Harrison, Dan Rice news, of course. there will be fantastic acquisitions, I'm sure, to the backroom team. So we'll see what happens moving forward with that one. And on the transfer front, like I say, Victor Omerson would be a fantastic signing if we can bring him in. And Florian Wirtz as well would be another fantastic signing if we could bring him in. He does have quite a bit of ability to be able to, do a lot of the things that we want moving forward. We want players that are able to play in Champions League football, European football. And for me, Victor Omerson and Florian Wirtz both tick their boxes on that one. Anyway, let us know your thoughts. Until next time, remember to hit a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 2K subscribers. And I'll see you all in the next one. How are the lads?